Here we go, boys. What's up? This is Astranox. Arunka is out, and it's time for me to showcase her right after this video. This is going to be a video where I'm going to be summoning for her. Hopefully, I get her artifact. I have 605 Covenant bookmarks. This is going to be my third account, and stuff is ready here. 15 skill ups is what you can expect on this hero, and I'll go over different builds for this hero right after the summoning session after I build her, and it's gonna be right after this. This video is brought to you by Amazon Appstore and Amazon Coins. If you're going to spend for Arunka, you should do so by using Amazon Coins. You can save up to 20% on in-game purchases from games who are on the Amazon App Store. The great news is that Epic 7 is now available on it, and you can start using Amazon Coins to straight up get more out of what you're usually spending or end up with more spare cash instead. It's a win-win scenario. It's very easy to get the best savings on the Amazon App Store and Epic 7. Just go down below and use my link and follow the instructions. If you use my link below, it helps me, but also allows you to still get the best possible discounts. You can get up to 20% off, which is really awesome. Get a full 20% discount if you buy 50k coins. If you buy 10,000 Amazon coins for $82, they will give you $100 in the game, and so on, with a bunch of discounts for different budgets. It's really easy to start saving. There's just 3 steps. 1. Get your Amazon coins. 2. Get Epic 7 from the Amazon App Store on your favorite device, Android phone or tablet, or even better, get Amazon App Store now on Windows 11 and play Epic 7 directly from your PC easily with no complications. Currently available for the US and then globally. That's awesome. Once you've done that, just log into Epic 7 through the Amazon App Store. Just as easy as that. Why pay the full amount when you can get up to a nice 20% discount? There's really no reason not to use this method when it comes down to spending money in Epic 7. Check out my link in the description or comments section down below. Get Amazon App Store, get some Amazon coins, and start saving now. I got the store ready at the table for Arunka, but first we need to get her. So let's see how lucky I will be. Good luck to everyone. Hopefully you guys got lucky, got her artifact, and you didn't have to join the 121 club. But let's begin. Let's see how it pans out. Her artifact, not the biggest of deals. This is not a limited hero. Her artifact, I mean, getting 5% attack for the whole team is pretty interesting. So there is that. And getting some hit chance on her, not the hugest of things, but, you know, not missing your attack. It's good. You know, you're going to be hitting for 70% of a normal hit if you do miss. So that's quite a bit of damage missing, especially if you don't manage to do a crushing hit. Like, crushing hit is 115% of a normal attack. I believe 70% of a normal attack. If you miss, you can see the difference. It's quite big, right? So, you know, her artifact could be pretty interesting, especially if you have other attack-based heroes part of the team. I'm gonna try her out in various team compositions. We'll see how she actually performs, right? I might just end up building her as a bruiser because she does have some pretty good defensive stats, right? The health and the defense that she does have are, you know, over 6,000 HP, over 600 defense. So you can definitely work with that. She's self-sufficient, attack buff on the skill number 3 before she does the damage. So there's that. But this hero is really about countering barrier mechanism. And now with the team-wide barrier set that you can get from Golem, yeah, it's going to be more widespread. You know, it's not all about having the enemy running a Fall in Sicilia, a Bastion, or Perlucia. So, you know, you're going to be seeing barrier more often. So you're going to have her at your disposal if you do have her built. Not everyone's gonna have the resources to build a hero like this, but over time, you know, you might just lean toward building her because she's gonna help you out. You don't need to actually bring an attack buffer, so that's really good, right? And when they have barrier, you penetrate up to 70% of their defense, so you can sort of like guarantee a killing blow right there. So that's very good. And there's the extinction. Like, the extinction is a big deal. Like, imagine, if you bring her along, it's not all about barrier. Let's say you could just bring her simply as a Arbiter Vildred counter. And if they manage to just have a barrier, I mean, that's going to be a plus, right? So, yes, in some cases, you're not going to penetrate defense by 70%, which is quite a big deal. Like, the difference in damage, yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it in action, and I'll test that out in the showcase after this video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll see her damage, 15 skill ups. You guys know the drill. And the skill number 1 actually seems like it's going to deal a lot of damage. So, you know, getting some effectiveness is going to be something that you want. Maybe more so for a PvE build, but having some effectiveness to just get a more reliable, you know, bleed debuffs to land on the enemy, because she can land 2 bleeding debuffs. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot of extra damage. And the thing is, 50% of the time, she's going to actually trigger an extra attack. It needs to be on her own turn, but that is going to be a lot of damage to get her. Think about it, like all that plus 2 bleeding effect popping off on the target, it definitely will be adding up. Now, the damage of the initial hit that is able to apply 2 bleeding effects doesn't deal as much damage as the extra attack that she triggers, but you have to factor in the bleeding effects triggering, right? Which is going to penetrate 70% of the target's defense. That's how bleeding works. It's based on 30% of your attack and penetrates 70% of the target's defense. Burn is 60% of your attack and same penetration amount. So, yeah, especially versus tanky heroes. In the hero preview showcase that they had, you know, they're popping a Senya. So that's a pretty big deal, dealing was it close to 20,000 damage, but Senya is a very tanky hero, and you don't need to worry about building crit chance on her, so that is very good. Very good that you don't have to build crit chance. Where is her artifact, boys? Where is her artifact? Maybe it's in this pool? Oh? Oh, yes, 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 come on. Come on, baby. Give it to me. Oh, it's a great artifact, Rod of Merilis, but that's not quite the artifact I'm looking for, right? Not at this particular time. Okay. Okay, well, looks like it's the pity boys. 121 club. Here I come. Okay. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's part of the experience in Epic 7. At least there's the pity, that's the thing. So, Arunka. You could be building her with like much more attack, more speed.
If the whole world's against us, no one shall lay their hands on the prairie as long as I stand.
Nice, nice. I like her design. Looks nice. Very cool hero. Her weapon, man, massive. Love it. Okay, let's build Arunka up. Oh, the artifact though. Like, let's look at my inventory. How much powder of knowledge do I have? Ooh, boys. I guess, you know, let's just try her out with her own artifact, right? Let's have it at plus 15. Just one copy, just one of it, right? So it's very realistic. You know, 15 skill up is not for everyone, but at least you're going to be able to see the number that I'm going to be able to dish out, and it's going to give you an idea if you should, you know, eventually build her, right? Should you be pulling for her, investing resources in Arunka? Yeah, we'll see, right? Okay, so the Sword of Autumn Eclipse. Nice artwork on this. 5% attack for the team. So really, like, you're gonna be getting more value out of this thing if you, of course, have other attack-based heroes in the team. Everything adds up, right? Same with memory imprints all across the team. So if you can get a bit more here and there, might allow you to do that one shot, which is gonna be pretty game-changing, of course. But yeah, 15% hit chance at plus 15. It's not too bad. You're getting the full 5% for the whole team, right? So, okay, let's just grab it here. Okay, of course, of course, right? Okay, so I'm just going to make some space here, grab her, and we'll start, you know, powering her skills up, and I'll talk about priority and yeah, builds. Okay, let's go. Here it is. Let's do this thing. Let's grab her. And let's do it. So, the attack passive that she gets, you know, that definitely adds up, right? We had Huayong getting nerfed. So, yeah, I hope Arunka does well, right? I hope she does well here. Like I said, you cannot trigger a critical hit. So that's, you know, 2 stats you don't have to worry about building, right? Crit chance and crit damage, it definitely adds up over time. So real quick here, let's level her up and bring her to 6-star. Oh my goodness! I have so many resources saved up on this third account on the Europe server. Been playing on this account for a long time. 5 accounts is very time consuming to keep up, but it's definitely worth it for me. It's definitely worth it. I just have like resources all over the place. I can test every hero, and yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. Okay, so the skill ups, boys. After leveling her up, of course, plenty of penguins. Even if I don't have them, I got plenty of stigma. Okay, so now for the skill ups. What is really important? Well, if you don't manage to do the one shot on the skill number 3, that's gonna be sad if you're relying on extinction, right? So getting damage here is important. -1 turn cooldown might as well because, you know, +3, such a low amount of Molagora you need to invest. Here, the passive, I mean, that's the thing. I didn't talk about it. The combat readiness increase that you get at the end of every enemy's turn if they have a barrier. This will definitely add up over time. I mean, even if you're fighting area, right? The enemy will be, you know, stealthed with barriers, so you won't be able to reach them with her to get the extra, you know, defense penetration with the skill number 3. But at least you're gonna be able to cycle. So there's that, right? So of course, getting some more CR is gonna be nice here. Yeah, let's bring this up. So just a setup. Let's see, you don't have many Molagora. The usual is to go with something like 333. Not every character will have the cheap cost of 1 Mola for all 3 skill ups. Sometimes it's just 1 skill up on the hero to get the -1 turn cooldown. So yeah, the cost may vary, but 1 Mola is just so much value, right? The skill 3 is the big one here. Yeah, like you're not getting more attack by getting the skill ups here, but the CR push will definitely add up over time during a game, especially if the game goes on for a while. And the skill number 1, you got the bleeding. The bleeding is not affected by the skill ups, so not the biggest of things. But if the battle is, of course, going to drag on, if it's going to be a long battle, many turns will happen. The skill 1, you're just going to get a lot of value. Now the thing is, will the skill up actually affect the extra attack? I don't know 100%, like if that's the way it works, right? But cheap way to build this hero, of course, 333. I would invest a few mola in the skill number 2, even if you really want all the damage on the skill number 3. Really depends, right? Like few turns, the battle is done, you won, whatever, hopefully, right? You just like try to max this thing out as fast as possible. It's such a big deal, you know, like this whole thing, there's not a lot of text, it's not a wall of text of a description for the skill number 3, but self-attack buff deals the damage after. I mean, there's that potential penetration. 70% is huge. That's so much value, right? And putting a penetration set on her, you're not going to get good value out of that if you're actually penetrating 70% of their defense already. You're just not going to get so much value. You could go with a hit chance, a hit set. You could go with immunity. That could definitely be powerful, especially if she's built on the slower side. And she's Earth, right? So, you know, Ran, Para, not so easy to remove immunity off of her, so keep that in mind, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna fully skill her up, of course. Enough with the talking here, and let's move on to her build. I'll be putting gear on her. You know, the build might vary, right? Like, it depends on what type of gear you have, what type of team you're going to try to run her in. You're going to run her as a bruiser. Maybe you don't have that much of ability, but you build much more speed. You can follow up with your combat gymnast pusher or pushers in your team and do her job, make it happen. You know, attack buff, you don't need to worry about. Maybe you're running Silver Rain. Actually, she's probably going to get the Silver Rain attack buff because that's the thing. She has a lot of attack, right? Because of her passive. Maybe you went like with a slow build on another hero. That hero is getting the Silver Rain attack buff. She's self-sufficient with her, you know, her skill number 3. Yeah, a lot of stuff can happen with this hero. The Soulburn cheap 10 souls to get that extra attack is just going to add up in a game. And she could be your soul damage dealer. I can definitely see that happen. happening if she has good survivability and you can keep her up. Especially if you're fighting a team that has an ice hero or more, especially if it's their damage dealer, it's not going to be such a big risk having her in the team. Okay, so let's do it up, boys. Forgot to awaken her. So real quick, here are her stats. That is with her passive, right? Of course, quite a bit of attack. But let's go and awaken her. You can see now the dual attack chest at 3% on heroes. Yeah, less randomness, right? Like, I mean, we all had those experiences where that dual attack of the enemy like ended up making us lose the battle, and I'm sure it happened a lot of times to a lot of you guys, especially if you've been playing Epic 7 for multiple years. It's quite frustrating. So yeah, if someone wants a dual attack, they can just go with the Unity set, which got buffed. So that's the thing. Like, maybe you want to go with the Unity set on her. I mean, you could go triple Unity, but the thing you have to remember is that the skill number 1 will not trigger the extra attack if you're running counter on hers, counter set. If you're running Unity, right? It will not trigger. So if it did trigger, that would be completely insane. We would be building her differently because together it's just so much damage with the bleed effects. I feel like yeah, it would be pretty ridiculous. So it needs to be balanced, right? So here are her stats with all fully awakened. Fully awakened. You can see that the speed is quite low, 102, but the survivability is quite up there. Quite up there. The attack, very nice, right? Like it's gonna definitely help out to do that one shot. But I can't wait to see her damage. Just the thing. So let me put some gear on her. Alright guys, I am back with her built up. Look at those stats. Very nice that you don't need to build crit chance and crit damage. Opens up a lot of stats for survivability, more attack, more speed especially, some effectiveness as well. Now you don't need as much effectiveness as I have because that's pretty crazy. Like I could realistically just use her in PvE as well as in PvP because she's on speed hit set. Now, remember what I said, you can have her on immunity because, well, you actually got a pretty good chance to, have Ran and Pera miss their attack. So she's going to keep the immunity and it's going to be that much more annoying for the enemy to deal with her. So, okay, now you can see that her stats are pretty high for all these stats, and it's because of this gear right here. I actually just rolled it, right? Had a lot of like gear laying around, and that's one thing that I really like about the hero like Arunka and Hwoyong is that you can actually find some pieces of gear that you had that actually are very good and sort of like perfect for those heroes. And yeah, you end up with stuff like this. So a nice balance of the survivability, the speed, effectiveness, which I think is kind of like too high. Like I don't need as much effectiveness as this. It's not like there's a crucial debuff on the skill number 3 that needs to land or something like that. It's a skill 1, right? Like stuff already happened in the battle, and then you get to skill 1, it's bleeds, right? It's not like the bleeds need to be on the targets for you to activate an extra attack, like something really important. So I really feel like the effectiveness is just too high. So if I had nice immunity pieces of gear available, I would just put that on Arunka. I would feel much better about having immunity on her. And well, we got her artifact here, just one at plus 15, good enough. I mean, 15% hit chance, the 5% attack increase for the rest of the team. I might actually change that because it really depends. You might not want to be running a hero that scales with attack with her in the team. You might be running another type of hero that scales based on maximum health, defense, their damage is scaling off of that. So you're not going to get such good value there. Of course, she does get the attack increase from this artifact. That's something you have to remember. It actually works for the hero wearing it as well. It's the whole team, the whole team. It's not like an imprint, right? It's not like the team imprint that doesn't actually affect the hero. Now, I don't have any imprint. If I do have imprints later in the future, I would be running the health for the rest of the team. That's just a lot of value. I like to run imprint for the whole team beside the hero. It's just like together, it really adds up. It's nothing like massive, but it definitely helps. You just end up with more value when you do it this way, when you approach it this way, unless you have a very good imprint, like critical hit chance, and you need it badly. So that's when I would turn on self imprint, or maybe effectiveness. I really need it for my hero. The team doesn't really need it, so I'm gonna turn that on for for my hero, right? So okay, now for the builds, right? Speed is very good. 230 speed that I have on her, that's real juicy. She's going to be able to cycle real fast, especially if they have barrier, and it's going to push her combativeness at the end of every enemy's turn. Like, if the whole enemy team of 4 or 3 in Guild War has barrier, that is a lot of combativeness throughout a battle, especially if they have a fallen CC get that keeps putting barrier on a hero, right? So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, for her stats, maybe I would prefer more health, of course, more defense as well. Like, such nice amount of defense and health based on her that it's very easy to scale up to a high amount, right? So I'm gonna just show you the pieces of gear once again. So of course on the weapon, it's not the easiest of pieces of gear to actually roll, but because you cannot have defense percentage there, right? So yeah, I had a lot of weapons laying around between speed and hit set, but to actually reach to get those 4 pieces of stats right there, it's not easy, right? You might have to actually what's it called, reforge or whatever. Yeah, yeah, you might have to modify that. So yeah, I had to do that on a 2 pieces of gear, or 3 actually. So here, of course, the health percentage and defense is very important. Like, that together will increase your effective health, and that is just going to allow you to be that much more tanky. It's going to be easier, less pressure on your healer in your team to keep you alive. But she also, that's the thing, I didn't talk about it, she does have health recovery on the skill number 1, which scales based on her attack. So you could have a Shimaja staff part of your team, boosting the green numbers across the whole team, so that could help her out. But we saw over 2,000 healing out of her skill number 1 when she attacked. She dealt like 5,000 damage, and then the bleeds is extra damage later, but that's not going to heal her. Actually, the healing is based on her second attack, the expose, right? It's like every bit helps, but if you make her more tanky, that means she's going to be able to survive longer up until that point when she actually uses the skill number 1 to get a bit of recovery, and all that stuff adds up, and it helps you, to stay alive. And you can just save your souls and soul burn her unless there's a rebellion on the enemy team, which won't allow you to do that, right? But still, 50% chance is pretty good, right? So yeah, all that stuff really adds up, but boosting the health is not the only thing. You need to remember that defense is there as well. You need to build them together. I would go with more health than defense if I had to pick, because if your defense broken, your survivability is going to be better with more health compared to defense, which like lose a lot of value because you're they're gonna break your defense, right? Like, you're gonna lose 70% of your defense, which is massive. Unless maybe you have a defense buff to really help you out, but still, it's such a massive drop in survivability when you get defense broken. Now, the chess, yeah, I mean, like, it depends what type of gear you have, but try to get these, right? You want to get attack percentage as much as possible. If you get some flat attack, that's okay, right? Like, you still get good value out of that. It's something like you don't have to actually like change that stat. We don't all have these things laying around to change the stats, right? But yeah, a chess like this is pretty much like the optimal substats you want to have on it. The values, I would go with less effectiveness, more survivability, more health, more defense, speed, whatever, instead of having so much effectiveness on it. You could have her built, right? You could have her on an effect resistance build. She doesn't get effect resistance out of the awakening, but I mean, you could be running, my god, what's the name, the artifact, the 4-star artifact that gives effectiveness, right? When you're above 50% HP, you get even more effectiveness. Effect resistance, 60% effect resistance is a lot. You could have effect resistance imprints across your team, and you could go like 200 effect resistance up. I mean, yeah, you could even go an immunity set too, so that's really annoying to deal with on turn 1. So yeah, the main stat, you could also go for health or defense percentage. It really depends on the piece of gear you have. If you have really good substats, you're gonna get a lot of value out of that. Just go for it, right? One of them is fine. I would opt for speed main stat on the boots because she's gonna cycle faster. Very important. Really gonna increase her damage throughout the battle like that. So yeah, I could reforge the defense flat, but then I calculated it. I mean, having defense percentage, even her base defense is very nice. Still, I would be losing value. I would have to use one of those material to, change that line anyways. So I just left it like that. Not the greatest of value. It's hard to get like high value on necklace and ring. It's just the way it goes. You're not gonna have like legendary a piece of gear often. You might be running an epic, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I'll have a good speed on that, and I don't have such a good necklace and ring for her, so I roll with that because some of the other ones are used already. But yeah, you can see reforge the effectiveness here. I had some flat health, better here. I want to land some bleedings and bring her in PvE as well. So that's the thing. You can build her like this and have her being used in PvP and in PvE. But if I had to choose, guys, what you can get out of this, how to make this build better compared to what I have right now, I would go for better survivability. Keep the health and defense sort of like together, like build them together. If you have to choose, go with more health compared to defense. The attack, try to bring it up as much as possible. That one shot is going to be super important, especially if you can penetrate defense. But if you can't penetrate defense, that's where like you really want those extra points of attack to actually make the one shot happen. Let's say Arbiter Vildred that doesn't have barrier, right? It's going to be quite important to make that happen. Okay, and yeah, effectiveness for the bleeds could definitely be a nice thing to have. But the speed, yeah, you're gonna be able to get so many turns. It's gonna definitely make you much more dangerous to deal with. And yeah, I like it like that. Imprint, run the team imprint better than the self imprint. But if you want to squeeze that extra bit of damage, go for it. That's the thing. But I mean, health for the team percentage, that's very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so other builds, counter not so good. Can't trigger the extra attack with counter. You could be running something. Yeah, you could go attack set. You could go lifesteal would be very nice actually. Lifesteal would just make her that much more annoying. It's just you're gonna be missing speed. Also, her base speed is bad, 102. So you're not getting the greatest of speed out of the speed set. Keep that in mind. So lifesteal definitely going to be a powerful option for her. Attack set. Attack set. You want to make the one shot happen so badly, right? You want more healing, but you're not going to be getting so much, turns over the course of the battle. Like I said, 102 speed, so it doesn't scale the greatest, right? You could be running Torrent set, the new set from Katie's. I mean, you could be running. Yeah, there's different ways. It really depends what you have available, what's the best stats you have on those pieces of gear. Two-piece immunity, gonna be very nice. Hit set. You could be running Torrent. You could be. That's the thing. Torrent, you lose survivability when you run that, right? You could be running a health, two-piece defense. If you're really like, you don't really have too many two pieces set available for you. So yeah, that's it. You're right. Unity, different options for you. Hit set definitely works. So that's the thing. For the best artifact for Arunka, a Little Queen's Huge Crown just seems so good. Like, look at that. It's ridiculous. If they have barrier, she counters barrier. I mean, the damage increase is ridiculous. She has single target attacks, right? So this would be very nice for her. Like, I'm gonna be running her own artifact. We'll test it out. But like I said, like you need to have heroes that are attack based in the team with her. Even though she does get the 5% attack increase for herself, like a Little Queen's Huge Crown is just so juicy for her. You could be running like Portrait of the Saviors. You could be running the Guild War Unity artifact. If she misses not the end of the world, she doesn't need to crit to trigger the crit damage, but still 70% damage instead of 100% normal attack damage or a crushing hinge 115. Add like elemental advantage 110% normal damage attack. And let's say it's a crushing hit, like all these things together, like that's a big amount of damage right there that she can potentially do with her attack increase passive 30%. So yeah, a Little Queen's Huge Crown, definitely something that would be very powerful on her. But then if they don't have barrier, well, you're losing a lot of value because you're not penetrating defense with skill 3. You're not getting the additional damage. So that's something to think about. But still, big, big, big damage out of this artifact though. I'd like to hear what you guys think about Arunka. How did you build her? How do you plan on building her? If you had her, what you think. What would be the most optimal build for this hero? So definitely stay tuned for the showcase. We'll see her numbers, how she performs. But with that speed, she's definitely going to be there. She's going to get many turns. We're going to be seeing her potential. How can she deal with the meta? Big question. Is she going to be worth investing into? All these questions hopefully will be answered in the next video. Stay tuned for that. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.